Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for the trading week of November 11th through November 15th. We're in part 2 of our weekly trading game plan. We'll be selecting our top swing trading stocks to watch, stocks in our bullpen, stocks on our shopping list. We'll also talk about how we can use dividend payers and several option strategies to also generate income while we wait for our swing trading stocks to set up. So let's get started. Welcome, RT. Thank you for joining us in the chat today. Hope you're doing well. So here's our Google document with our notes for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for November 11th through November 15th. We keep our notes for our weekly trading game plans in publicly accessible Google documents. Our notes documents contain links to bonus videos, to the tools and resources we use to trade our top swing trading stocks to watch. If you haven't already seen part 1 of our weekly trading game plan for this trading week titled Make Money Trading Post-Elections, we would highly recommend you also view part 1, as that contains our market analysis, trading strategies, trade ideas for this trading week. Again, you can find a direct link to this Google document in the description box below. We keep all of the Google documents with our weekly trading game plan notes in a publicly accessible Google Drive folder, so you can refer back to the notes for part 1 as well as previous week's weekly trading game plans, and you can find a direct link to that publicly accessible Google Drive folder also in the description box below. Welcome to Ricky Khan. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. So firstly, we'll go over our trade updates for this week, and we'll also review them in the charts in Webull. So firstly, we went long on BITI. BITI is the short on the Bitcoin futures. We had talked about this as a trading strategy post-elections. I expected a sell the news retracement after a pop in Bitcoin on the Trump election. We saw that pop. Again, I was probably a little bit premature. We got in right after the pop on the 6 at 625 after it hit a new all-time high. It subsequently hit several other new all-time highs. So again, I was potentially a little premature, as we'll see. But again, this is based on the Bitcoin futures, not necessarily the spot Bitcoin price. So also BITI pays a dividend, as we'll see in our dividend payers Google sheet. So we can wait for that sell the news retracement in BITI, again, to short Bitcoin. We've previously done an analysis of a couple of the ETFs to short Bitcoin futures, BITI versus SBIT. You can also do a real-time comparison of those two ETFs in our ETF Google sheet, and you can hear our previous analysis on that comparison of the short Bitcoin ETFs in the bonus link to that video in the notes. Welcome, Gerald Fitz. Thank you for joining us. Secondly, kind of again, another post-election trade idea that we had talked about. We expected if Harris did not win, it would be negative for clean energy, for solar. So you'll see a couple of energy plays. So we sold cash secured puts at the 75 strike price against Enphase Energy. Again, they had missed earnings. They got a couple of downgrades, so that premium did spike up. We sold the November 15 expiration at 590. If it bounces back again over 70, a little over 69 or so, those will expire worthless, and we'll just keep that premium. So you can hear our thesis on selling puts on Enphase, ENPH via the link to the video in our notes. Again, we'll try to buy that back cheaper if it happens to drop, or again, those are going to expire this Friday, so we can wait for those to expire. If I do get assigned at that price, again, we've discussed we'd be relatively happy with that, waiting for the turnaround in Enphase. We also sold cash secured puts against NEP, NextEra Energy Partners, at the 1750 strike price, January 25 expiration date at 120. You can also hear our thesis on NEP, NextEra Energy, via a couple links, via the links into those videos in our notes. Again, NEP is a dividend payer. It just went ex-dividend. It's a quarterly dividend. So after its ex-dividend, it did decline further. So again, well, we can hold that, wait for price appreciation and the future dividend, assuming they don't do a dividend cut. Again, we'll try to buy that one back cheaper if we get that opportunity for a self-generated dividend on both NEP and Enphase ENPH. Also, we got stopped out of our position in USOI. USOI is a monthly dividend payer on oil. So we had entered that on the 28th at 62.81. We got stopped out of, again, post-election at 65.60 for a nice profit with an ROI of about 4.4%, which equates to a monthly ROI of about 14.8%. So congratulations to all of our fellow BeachBum traders who profited and or are profiting from this trade on USOI. As we'll see, oil kind of spiked down post-election, dipped down below 70 into the 69s. That stopped us out of our USOI position. So it appeared that the post-election reaction to Trump's win was lower oil prices. That seems to be the consensus. It's good for some of the oil producers, but not necessarily for the spot oil price. You know, the drill baby drill thesis made drive prices lower. So we'll see if we get another opportunity to get back into USOI. So again, we looked at oil yesterday. If it dips to 67, 65, again, we'll be looking for another opportunity to get back into USOI and collect those monthly dividends going forward. Welcome, Katon. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. So just a quick reminder, although I don't recommend anyone blindly follow us into or out of trades, it would help you make money trading, help you succeed in your trading career to hear when we or see when we enter or exit trades. You can get real-time notification of our entries and exits by joining our Patreon. We also, again, as soon as I enter or exit a trade, try to post that notification to our Patreon members. You'll get an email notification. You may be able to also set up SMS notifications from Patreon, although I don't use that. And again, give you an opportunity to evaluate that trade for yourself. We also have several channels set up in our Discord for our Patreon members with additional alerts that I'll show you. So I also have Thinkorswim price alerts set up. When those get triggered, they get automatically posted to our Thinkorswim TOS alerts channel in our Discord. So you can see when NEP hit a 52-week low, we got that alert. When Bitcoin made a new all-time high, we got that alert. If I follow those alerts up with a trade, then I will post a reply in the Thinkorswim channel, Thinkorswim alerts channel. If it's a trade that's not directly related to a Thinkorswim alert, then I'll post that in the trade alerts channel. So you can see when we sold the cash secured puts on Enphase, on NEP, when we went long on BITI. So again, you can get all those notifications also in these channels in our Discord. We also have a alerts channel with additional alerts generated by our automated systems when stocks are moving up, breaking out near our price targets. And you can get access to that alerts channel also by joining our Discord. You can hear how you can use our alerts channel to get alerted when stocks are moving up, breaking out near support or price target level via the link to the video in our notes. So again, if we look at the alerts channel in our Discord, you can also use this to see sector rotations, reversals in the market. So see, we're going to talk about SARK. It's near our price target. That's the inverse on ARK-K. You can see SOX, which is the inverse on semiconductors breaking out. So that means semiconductors going down. See INTT moving up. So we took that one off. It ran up. So again, great for day traders, scalpers, short-term traders, as well as swing traders to also see these reversals, sector rotations, etc., by using the alerts in our alerts channel. So I hope that all helps. Welcome, Gerald Fitz, Fairchild. Thank you, Alan Krantz. Thank you all for joining us today. So let me grab a quick drink and we'll go over to Webull and look at all of those trades. So if we look at those trades in Webull, let's see, here's the BITI trade right after the election. Again, we got that spike in Bitcoin, hit a new all-time high. We see that quick drop in BITI. I was watching as you'll see, I watched the Bitcoin futures chart in Thinkorswim. Looked at after it hit that all-time high, kind of middle in the day, it looked like it kind of stalled out. So that's when we entered into BITI, the short. We could see subsequently Bitcoin has made several more new all-time highs. So BITI's declined. I saw someone had also RT had pointed out as well, and we'll note that BITI, as well as a number of the other, I think, ProShares ETFs did reverse splits on the 7th. So they did a 1-to-5 reverse split. So rather than it being 625 is like 30-20 or something, or a 31-24, I think, is our cost basis now on BITI. So we're right in there. So again, BITI also pays a dividend. So again, we'll just wait for that correction in Bitcoin, take advantage, maybe scalp it off, and then re-enter again if Bitcoin surges back up. Talked about USOI. We also got stopped out of that right after the election. So again, we saw a dramatic spike down in oil prices, down below 70. Again, post-election reaction that stopped us out of USOI. Again, we expected oil prices to decline on Trump win. So we moved our stop a little bit tighter to protect our profits. Again, we've got a nice profit in USOI. We entered in at 62.81. So again, a nice 4.4% profit. Again, if we get a decline in oil prices back down to 67, 65 or so, USOI gets down near 62, we'll re-enter a position in USOI. We talked about ENPH. We sold puts on ENPH. So again, they missed on earnings. Again, solar play, post-election reaction, negative on solar companies. It did get downgraded. A couple analysts downgraded on Friday. I think that's what spurred the further decline. Again, we'll see if we get a bounce back. Again, those expire on Friday. So if it bounces back into the 70s, those would expire worthless. Otherwise, we might get a sign. But again, pretty good price target on ENPH, given it's got plenty of upside into the 140s and above. So Also, NextEra Energy we've been talking about. We sold puts on NextEra at 17.50. It's sitting right there right now. Again, it just went ex-dividend, so it declined significantly on the ex-dividend day. It declined a little bit. Again, negative sentiment and energy in general. Again, if we get aside those, got plenty of upside, so up into the 30s. And again, we've got some cushion, $1.20 or so cushion below 17.50, where those would just expire worthless. We get a bounce back, we'll try to buy those back cheaper. So I hope that all helps. Again, congratulations to any of our BeachBum traders who profited on any of those trade ideas trades thus far. Okay, next we'll talk about our top swing trading stocks to watch. We'll talk about updates to our top swing trading stocks to watch list. We can also look at them in our watch list Google sheet and then the charts in Webull. Ricky Khan says he unloaded half. Well, hopefully you protected your profits. Still hasn't declined too much, so you could probably still put a stop in, protect your profits. Okay, some changes, some updates to our top swing trading stocks to watch list for this week. I'll go over the updates, then I'll go our Google watch list Google sheet, and then also the charts in Webull. So firstly, I'm going to take INTT, Intest Corp, off of our watch list as it's already run up. They had positive earnings, jumped up on earnings. So congratulations to any of our BeachBum traders who profited from that trade idea. We'd encourage you, if you profit from any of our trade ideas, please share that with your fellow traders. Encourage them to join our community. Similarly with Perry. Perry was also run up. I think they might have reported earnings as well, and it wasn't negative, so they popped up. It's run away. So again, you can hear our discussions on Perry, INTT, via links to the videos in our notes. Again, we can always revisit them if they come back down in the future. So again, congratulations to any of our BeachBum traders who profited from that trade idea on Perry. So one of the ones we're adding this week to our top swing trading stocks to watch list is SARK, which is the short on ARK-K. We looked at the chart for ARK-K yesterday. We saw it had a excessively exuberant runs, quite extended. The 52-week high on ARK-K is 54.52, so we'll be watching for a top or resistance in ARK-K, potentially around that 52-week high as a potential entry point in SARK. Also, we talked yesterday about shorting the IWM, shorting the Russell, so the ETF we've selected to add to our watch list for shorting the IWM, the Russell's SRTY. It's a 3x short on the Russell. So we had added it to our bullpen on the 7th. I moved it up, put it in the game, moved it up to our top swing trading stocks to watch list on the 7th. Again, we want to look for a top resistance point in the IWM. In Thinkorswim, it shows a 3-year high on IWM at 244.46. PinViz and some of the Webull show IWM making a new all-time high. So again, once we get that reversal in the IWM correction, we'll look for an entry in SRTY. As an alternative ETF, you can look at TZA and use TNA as this is a inverse ETF on small caps. TNA is the bull on small caps, but they also seem to be watching the Russell 2000 index, so they seem to have a similar composition, and it's just a matter of which one you prefer for risk-reward profile, to short small cap, short the Russell. And you can do a comparison of TZA versus SRTY using our ETFs Google Sheet. One of the reasons I prefer SRTY is it pays a slightly higher dividend than TNA. I guess we can quickly look at those in FinViz just to do a quick comparison. So just a quick reminder, you can find links to FinViz, other tools that we frequently use in the links section on our homepage, beachbumtrading.com, bum without the U. So here's SRTY, again, shorts 3X on the Russell. You see it's bottomed on that exuberant gap down, bottomed on that exuberant run in the Russell. So you can see it pays 11.53 dividend quarterly. We've also got these in our Dividend Payers Google Sheet. That's optionable. Compare that to TZA. Again, bear 3X inverse, so it's an inverse 3X on small caps, similar gap down, etc. Quarterly dividend, but it only pays 6.87. So again, and you look at the composition, it's using a Russell 2000 small cap or in small index. So on the performance of the Russell 2000 index. So they seem to, even though this is called small cap, it seems to also be based on the Russell 2000, the IWM, a very similar composition. So again, reason I selected SRTY is slightly better dividend. So, but you can pick whichever one you like best. So I hope that all helps. Welcome, Walter Lyons. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. I'm also taking ULTY, which is the Yield Max Ultra Option Income, off of our watch list. Again, it ran up with the exuberant run up in the markets. So its risk reward isn't that attractive. We were looking for a dip kind of in its ex-dividend cycle. So you can hear several of our discussions on ULTY via the links to the bonus videos in the notes. Again, we can always revisit that if we get a retracement in the stocks that ULTY is comprised of. So you can also, we're going to look at our watch list Google Sheet, and you can get 24/7 access to our watch list Google Sheet by joining our Patreon. Gets automatically updated at the end of each day with any changes that I've made to the watch list for that day. Also, if I make any changes to that, to any of our watch lists, our bullpen, our shopping list, after that, then I would post that to the Stocks Watch List Update channel in our Discord, which our Patreon members also have access to. So you can see when I added SARK on the 7th, when we added SRTY on the 6th, when we added INFU and INTT back on the 31st. So again, any updates to our watch list Google sheet after it's been automatically generated, I will update our Patreons in the Stock Watch List Updates channel and possibly send notifications through Patreon as well. You can hear how you can use our watch list Google sheet to watch our top swing trading stocks to watch via the series of videos, via the links in our notes. We recently added the PE and the ATR columns to all of our sheets in our watch list Google sheets, and you can hear how you can use those as well in our watch list Google sheet via the bonus link to that video. So also, before I jump over to our watch list Google sheet, I had a good question from one of our BeachBum traders, RT, that I want to discuss in a little detail. He asked, with your watch list Google sheet, how firm are the buy and sell at values? So let me grab a drink and we'll go look at our watch list Google sheet, and then I want to discuss what our buy at and sell at values mean and how you can use those. Welcome, MD. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. So firstly, just to look at the stocks in our watch list Google sheet, you can see we have these buy at and sell at columns with price targets. So to answer RT's question, how firm are these buy at and sell at values? These are relatively subjective. What I'm looking at is a support level. So I've identified for the buy at a support level below the current price. We use a variety of technical analysis, pivot points, etc., to potentially identify a support level that might be a good buy price target. Similarly, for the sell at, we're using a resistance point, could be a 52-week high, a resistance pivot point that we've identified we're looking for better than a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So I'm looking at buy at and or support and resistance levels that are going to give me as close to a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio as possible. Again, they're relatively subjective, as any identification of support or resistance levels are. Also, in terms of price targets for where to do your buying and selling, different people have different trading styles, different objective, different risk tolerance levels. So again, this is all quite subjective. Some people like to do breakouts, so you might want to wait for it to swing back through a support level for a buy. Some people like to do VWAP bounces, so they might want to wait for it to bounce off the VWAP as a price target to buy. Similarly, for resistance is again subjective, but it gives you an idea of a range, somewhere to start looking to sell, to take profit as it's a potential resistance level. So for our community, I'd love to hear your feedback. Would you prefer that these be titled support and resistance? Do you like the buy at, sell at as price targets? But again, it's subjective based on your trading style, what indicators you like to use, how you identify support and resistance, what kind of risk reward profile you're looking for. So let me know your feedback, which you would prefer, buy at and sell at price targets or support and resistance, and we can update those accordingly. So again, I hope that all helps. And I hope that answers the question, RT, about how firm these buy at and sell at values are. Again, it's support and resistance. Also, our Google Sheet contains a risk reward profile, and when the Google Finance functions are responding, gives near real-time pricing, 52-week high and low, etc. Also dividend information, so you can see the dividend information for SRTY. Again, SARK also pays a dividend, so again, we can sit on that, wait for a correction in the ARK-K. That's, I believe, a special dividend. Yeah, it was end of year 23, so whether or not they're going to pay that special dividend again, we'll see. Optionality information. P is not applicable to ETFs, but the ATR can also help you, in addition to the support and resistance, you can see the average true range of movement and use that to also set your stop. So I hope that all helps. Also, the links to the FinBiz profiles. So if we look at the charts for our top swing trading stocks to watch list in Webull, again, the first one we're looking at is SARK, but again, we want to use ARK as the determinant of a top or resistance level. So you can see SARK's going to trail off. We look at ARK, you can see it topped out at 54.15. Zoom out a little bit. This is longer term. So the 52-week high, 54.52, so very close to that. So if it does start to retrace quickly, we're going to want to jump into SARK at that time. Also talked about the IWM. So again, we see that gap up, exuberant run up in IWM. See, it's very close to that resistance point. So if we get a quick retracement in IWM, the Russell, that would be the point at which we'd want to enter SRTY. Again, the leverage short on the IWM, Russell 2000. So I hope that helps. Grab a drink and we'll go over our bullpen stocks. Just a quick reminder, if you're not already using Webull, you can still get up to 40 free fractional shares of stock by opening and funding your account with only $2,000. Under $2,000, you get 20 free fractional shares of stock, each worth $3,000 to $3,000. You'd use our affiliate link in the description box below. Take advantage, get your 40 free fractional shares of stock. Also, they keep emailing me on bonus interest available right now in your uninvested cash. I don't know how long that will last, but you can get all their current promotions by using our affiliate link in the description box below, and also help support our BeachBum trading community, which we greatly appreciate. So if we now look at our bullpen stocks, and if you're relatively new to our community, the concept of the bullpen stocks are ones that don't necessarily meet the setup for our top swing trading stocks to watch right now, but I've identified that they may in the near future. So we put them in the bullpen, revisit them periodically. If their setup improves, we put them in the game, move them up to our top swing trading stocks to watch list, as we did with BITI. Actually, we went long BITI. If they run away or break down, then we just take them out of the bullpen and we can revisit them in the future. So I've actually left BITI in the bullpen sheet of our watch list Google sheet. As we saw, our entry was a little bit higher than where it currently is, so possibly give you an opportunity to get an even better price shorting Bitcoin with BITI. So when it does swing back up, we'll take that out of the bullpen, as again, we're already long BITI. As I noted, BITI did a 1-to-5 reverse split on the 7th. Again, we want to watch the futures price, which is /BTC and Thinkorswim, or wherever else you can watch the futures price. Again, BITI is based on the future, not the spot Bitcoin price, but you can watch the spot Bitcoin in Webull using BTC USD in Webull. Also taking INFU, Info System Holdings, out of our bullpen. Again, had popped up on positive earnings. So it's already run up, but congratulations to any of our BeachBum traders who profited from that trade idea on INFU. You can hear our discussion, our thesis on INFU via the link to the video in our notes. Talk about NEP. Again, we've got a cash secured put sold against NEP, but we could also buy the shares. It's kind of sitting near our price target, which I think is around 1750. Now it's 1731. So we could buy some additional shares in NEP as well. We've been watching SLP for a while. It is a little high right now, as we'll see, but we're still keeping an eye on SLP, Simulations Plus. If we get a slight correction, might jump into SLP. And you can hear our discussion, our thesis on Simulations Plus SLP via the bonus link in the notes. Again, we talked about SRTY. Again, I put that in the bullpen on right post-election on the 6th. Again, Russell continued to, exuberantly run up. So we added that, we put it in the game, moved it up to our top swing trading stocks to watch list on the 7th. So again, you can also see our bullpen, watch our bullpen stocks in near real time, and the bullpen sheet of our watch list Google sheet. Similarly, we've got price targets, support resistance levels, buy at, sell at. Again, same concept. Also the dividend information, earnings dates. So again, useful to see when they're reporting earnings. So we saw several that popped up right after earnings. So if you're willing to trade them through earnings, some you might have made a nice profit. Also got PEs, ATRs, optionality, etc. So if we look at our bullpen stocks in Webull, again, a nice feature of Webull, we can have all kinds of different watch lists. Again, I've left BITI in there. We talked about it. Again, we looked at NEP. We've sold cash secured puts on that. Here's SLP. Again, it bounced up recently. Looks like it might be rolling over at that resistance point. So again, we'll see if we get a correction in SLP, bottom around 27.22. I've got our target, 52-week lows, 27.22. Got another support level around 26. So we'll see where SLP corrects to, and may jump into that soon. So I hope that all helps. Don't have any honorable mentions right now. Again, we always recommend you have your list of shopping list stocks ready for any correction in the markets, be it irrational reactions to earnings, irrational corrections in the markets. Again, even though we got a 25-point basis cut point in interest rates cut, we're still in a higher for longer interest rate environment. So some of these money-losing small caps, particularly biotechs, etc., may run out of money. They might need to do offerings. They might go bankrupt. So again, we recommend that you stay away from zombie companies, zombie stocks, zombie ETFs. Again, none of our content should be considered financial advice. We're not financial advisors. All of our content should be considered for education and entertainment purposes only. And if you're concerned about a stock having to do an offering or possibly at risk of bankruptcy, you can use our biotech due diligence Google sheet to calculate their quarter's cash flow positive, not just for a biotech, but for any money losing company. If you want to know how many quarters before they run out of cash, you can use our biotech DD Google sheet to do that calculation. I need to add a link to our video there on how to use that biotech DD Google sheet. So I'll add that as soon as possible as well. You can see our shopping list stocks in the shop list tab of our watch list Google sheet. So we've got some of the Mag 7s, Amazon, Meta, etc. Some REITs we like. You can see land has come down a little bit, so that one's starting to get interesting. They missed on earnings, so we'll see how far that comes down. We might start adding land to our watch list. We can always just trade it off our shopping list as well, like we've done off USOI. So you can see USOI is coming down. Got some other REITs that are starting to come down. Stag. Also got some other dividend payers, JEPI, JEPQ, got Intel, Rare Earths, MP. steel MSB. So again, another way to see some movements in the stocks, some rotation. Still got Pfizer in there. We talked about biotechs and pharma yesterday, so that might not be one I want to pursue. Uranium, we can watch uranium, oil. So I hope that helps. Katon's asking if JEPI changed their ticker. I don't believe so. Can look at it in FinViz as far as I know. Yeah, it still shows in FinViz. Okay, let me grab a quick drink. If anyone has any dividend payers you want to look at, throw those up in the chat. Again, in addition to our swing trading, we use dividend payers to generate income while we're waiting for our swing trading stocks to set up. And you can also use our dividend payers Google Sheet to generate your own schedule of dividend payers with the yield, the schedule, the risk reward profile, categories that you would like. And again, you can get 24/7 access also to our dividend payers Google Sheet by joining our Patreon. My only addition this week is I added BITI to our dividend payers, so we can also see the dividend, ex-dividend dates, etc. on BITI. And you can hear how you can use our dividend payers Google Sheet to generate your own schedule of dividend payers via the series of videos at the link in our notes. So again, let me grab a quick drink, and any dividend payers you'll want to look at, we can go through very quickly. So RT, thank you for sharing that. They made Canadian JEPI and JEPQ versions. Is that the ticker for that? IIRC? Yeah, I don't have that in FinViz right now. So if you have the tickers for those for our Canadian BeachBum traders, please share those as well. Our Discord in the comments, etc. Katon's mentioning a number of the yield maxes, so they've run up. Okay, so yeah, it's not showing in Fairchild says IIRC. It's not showing in FinViz right now. Katon's mentioning a number of the yield maxes, so they've all pretty much run up. Again, we took ULTY off of our watch list as it's also run up. Again, we saw pretty exuberant run-ups. The only one that's kind of close is AMD, but AMD, again, we use the underlying support levels to determine entry points other than our thesis on trading ULTY. But again, if you were already in those, nice profit this week on the run-ups in the markets. Again, just a quick reminder, you can access the distribution schedule for the yield maxes via the link in our notes. Also, any of them that are in our dividend payers Google Sheet will automatically update the ex-dividend dates as we know them. So I just wanted to point out BITI. Again, we've also added that to our dividend payers Google Sheet so we can pick up the dividend ex-dividend date. So the last ex-dividend was on the 1st of November. So the next one will probably be about the 1st of December. See, it only pays 4%. Performance this year has been pretty poor as Bitcoin's gone up. We can also see BITO, which is the long version on Bitcoin. So you can see it pays a pretty high yield. And Bitcoin at all-time highs. Talked about land, so you can also see more detail on land. So pretty small dividend, 4 or 5%, and declining, but starting to get attractive. Here's JEPI and JEPQ, where we were talking about Canadian versions if we can get that data at some point. MJ on cannabis. Again, we talked yesterday about the, no catalyst, negative sentiment on cannabis post-elections. Also wanted to point out SRTY, well, there's SARK. So you see SARK paid that special dividend end of last year. It's pretty nice, 15, 16%. So if we get that dividend through the end of the year, if we hold it that long, I might be able to get a special dividend again. And here's the dividend information on SRTY, 11% quarterly. There's another one I've been keeping an eye on is STM. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. This is Netherlands-based semiconductor. So again, we've recently done a video on that one. I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. I keep checking the setup in ChartMill as we did before, and the setup's still pretty poor in ChartMill, so that's one I'm keeping an eye on. When the setup improves, we'll put it either in our bullpen or our top swing trading stocks to watch. TLT, treasuries, saw a rebound in treasuries. We've got TSOY, APLY, etc. USOI, so we talked about that one. I'll leave this up. If I missed your ticker that you want to look at dividend payers, please let me know. We can come back and take a look at those. Okay, let me grab a drink. We'll talk about option strategies. Okay, in addition to dividend payers, we also use several option strategies, as you saw in some of our trade updates for this week and previous weeks. Firstly, we sell covered calls on our positions when they're going up, buy them back when they're going back down, and you can use our option strategies covered calls Google Sheet to do what if analysis on your covered calls option strategies. And you can hear how you can use our covered calls Google Sheet to do what if analysis on your covered call strategies via the link to the bonus video in the notes. We also sell puts. As you saw, we sold puts on ENPH, sold puts on NEP. We have sells out on several other stocks. We sell them when they're going down, buy them back when they're going up, or again, we can let them expire worthless and just keep the premium for a self-generated dividend. And we use our puts ROIC Google Sheet to help us identify opportunities to sell and buy back puts. And you can use our puts ROIC Google Sheet to also make money trading puts. And you can get 24/7 access to that by joining our Patreon. So firstly, just a quick enhancement that I made to our puts ROIC Google Sheet to help me update it on a daily basis. So I go through these on a daily basis, see if we have to adjust any of the strike prices, see what opportunities there may be. So I added conditional formatting to highlight the strike price in red. If the strike price is less than the current price, so if the strike price is below the current price, then the symbol will highlight in red. So an example of that we can see very quickly is like end phase. So we saw input phases declined. So the strike price is showing red. That's where I sold it. Currently, you can see the current price. So again, we've already sold that. Also, I've highlighted the symbol in green and the sell at price in green at the price that we've sold it at. So we're looking for a bounce back. If end phase bounces back, then we can evaluate if we want to buy that back cheaper, or if again it's November 15th. So it expires on Friday, so we can just hopefully let it expire and just keep that premium. So again, now you can see anywhere they're trading below their current, or the strike price is below their current price. So here's Celsius is also below the current strike price, but it's close enough. I've got a sell out on Celsius right now at $4. So it would be $26 would be the essentially in the money break even. So we'll see if that premium bounces up a little bit, even though the current price is slightly below the strike price. So a couple of other updates to our puts ROIC Google Sheet is I added this MGA, so I want to take a look at that one. So MGA. So here is MGA. I added that at a 40 strike price, current expiration. If we see what MGA is, you can access their profile via the links in the comments column. So this is an auto parts, Canadian auto parts company. Again, popped up in the options ROIC tool that we have in our puts ROIC Google Sheet. So again, I go through this option seller ROI tool also at the end of each day, see if there's anyone that's potentially attractive. See, they had an earnings miss, EPS missed, revenue missed. Again, we've been discussing negative sentiment in general in auto parts. They do make a lot of money. PE is pretty low. Not a lot of discrepancy between outstanding and float. It is optionable. Pays a small dividend, 4% or so. Got plenty of upside. So 40, looks like a support level. Got plenty of upside into the low hundreds. We look at them in ChartMill as well. So again, you can find the link to ChartMill in our link section on our homepage. See, the setup's very positive. So, potential swing if you're interested in swinging that. See, it's a very positive dividend. Health's pretty negative, growth negative, profitability negative. So if we look at their fundamentals real quickly, 4 out of 10. So it's a little bad profitability. So again, not great. 3 profitability. Look at their Altman Z-score, 2.35. So not great. Limited risk of bankruptcy. So again, not a great fundamental rating. 4 out of 10 technical rating and analysis, but it's got an 8 out of 10 setup. So again, if you're looking for a short-term swing trade, might not be too bad. Selling these puts might not be too bad. The ROIC wasn't great, but if we go to a 52-week high, it's almost 5%. If it does decline further, currently not very interesting. But let me know what you think of MGA. Is it a good one to sell puts on? Good one to swing trade? Do you have any experience with the company, with the stock? Please let us know. But it looks like one that it does have some risk of bankruptcy. So maybe not one that we want to hold the shares, but maybe just scalp some puts and make some money. Also, I'm going to roll all of the November expirations early next week when the 40-day window, you can see it's right at 12:20 right now. So probably tomorrow I'll update all of the November expiration dates to December 12:20, and then we'll collect that options data and update our puts ROIC Google Sheet accordingly. Some others that I've updated: APA, again, another auto parts declining. So we updated the strike down from 23 to 21. Estee Lauder Cosmetics, we've been talking about also the negative sentiment in the more expensive cosmetics, although I guess e.l.f. did okay. But things like Coty, Estee Lauder, etc., pretty negative right now. I believe they missed big on earnings. China sales poor and at risk, so we lowered that from 65 to 62. Also, Moderna declined further, so we discussed puts on Moderna a while back, and we lowered that from 50 to 45. Again, yesterday we talked generally negative on pharmaceuticals and biotechs, and I just took SMCI out of our sheet. I really don't want to see anyone get hurt with that. Potential for delisting. If you get caught with your puts and they get delisted, you could get stuck, get assigned those shares, and it be delisted. So you could get stuck with a real loser if you buy those puts, even though the premium might look attractive. I would stay away from that SMCI. So I hope that all helps. Otherwise, I've also got sells out still on Intel at 20 for January. That one still hasn't come up quite to my price. Siri still hasn't come down, came down a little bit. Still got to sell on Celsius, we talked about. I've sold NEP or Enphase, so I'm looking to buy that back or let it expire. Sold NEP. Got one on SLP at 30. At 310 right now. Only 140 right now. We'll see if SLP comes down. Also Shutterstock at 30. At 240 right now. So again, we'll see if those continue to trend up, then we can always cancel those orders, or they're just going to expire on Friday anyway. So not really much else attractive. Again, we saw the VIX, we got that vol crush on the VIX post-election. So a lot of these premiums have dropped, other than, again, excessive reactions to earnings. So those are potential opportunities. So again, I tend to listen to earnings, see if that causes a dramatic change in any of these potential puts. Again, I'm starting to use this Google Sheet more regularly during the day to see shifts in the markets as well. And again, you can use this to see those kinds of shifts, reactions to any of these stocks by joining our Patreon, using our puts ROIC Google Sheet. We've got a whole series of videos on how to use our puts ROIC Google Sheet, and you can access that series of videos via the link in the notes. Also got a whole playlist of videos on how you can make money trading options, and you can access that on our YouTube channel or via the link in the notes. Okay, let me grab a quick drink, and I want to address RT's question, and then maybe if we have time to address any other questions or comments. Okay, last week RT asked us in the chat of last week's part 2 to also take a look at NVAX. So let me take a real quick look at NVAX, and then we may have to defer some further due diligence to the future. But if we take a quick look at NVAX and NVIS, so Novavax, biotech stock. See last earnings, they actually had some EPS, they have some revenue. I believe it's vaccines. Did gap down recently. Looks like it's trending down in general. Broke down below its 200-day moving average, so that's pretty negative. They lose money. It is optionable. Not a lot of discrepancy between outstanding and float. Performance for the year has been positive. Not showing debt. If we look at their longer term chart, been in severe decline again, probably post-pandemic decline, like most of those vaccine companies. So yeah, it was very high, from the pandemic. Again, one of my concerns with this, and again, my opinion is we heard Pfizer and Moderna, they're seeing decline in revenue from the vaccines, so that probably also impact NVAX, Novavax. Look at their definition, biotech, development of vaccines. So again, very focused on vaccines. And again, we heard reports from Pfizer, Moderna, et cetera, that market's down. Also a post-election reaction to Trump and RFK focusing on healthcare biotechs would be negative for companies like NVAX. They lose a lot of money. They did report a profit in the last quarter, so that's a little positive. So they did better last quarter and the stock still declined. We look at them quickly in chart mill. So looks pretty poor. Overall, fundamentally poor. Health poor. Look at their fundamentals in a little more detail. So 2 out of 10, pretty poor compared to other biotechs. Bad profitability, again, generally pretty poor. Altman Z is negative, so again, high risk of offerings, bankruptcy. So again, I'd be very careful if you're looking to short-term trade it, scalp it on a bounce. Got a technical rating of 1, so poor right now. Setup of 3, so it's not even got a very good setup right now. And again, it's broken down below its moving average, downtrending. So yeah, I don't see any positives if you want a very short-term trade a bounce. But again, you'd have to know their catalyst. So, if you're interested in further due diligence on their catalysts, again, if you want to know, we saw their Altman Z is pretty negative. If you want to know how many quarters they've got cash before they run out, you can use our biotech due diligence Google sheet. I'd highly recommend that. Calculate the quarters cash flow positive, and you'll know, are you at risk of an offering this quarter, next quarter, etc. I would generally want to see 60, at least 2 quarters or so before they're going to drop an offering on you on any spike. So protect your profits. And again, we won't go into their catalyst right now. But if you're interested in further due diligence on their catalyst, potential pops, we can do that. As last week, we looked at Viking. I think it was last week. We did similarly analysis on Viking Therapeutics, BKTX. I put the bonus link to our previous quick take analysis on Viking in the notes, and I would like to do similarly, do their quarter's cash flow positive, also look at their future catalysts, potential catalysts for Viking, and you can access the tools that we use to look for catalysts in the resource sheet of our biotech due diligence Google sheet. So again, you can use that to do that for NVAX, and maybe we'll come back and be able to do that for NVAX and BKTX in the future. So, okay. If anyone else has any further questions, comments, etc., recommendations for improvement for our weekly trading game plans, any of our videos, tools, our Google Sheets, our community, our resources, please put those in the comments to this video or any of our other videos. If you have stocks you want us to look at, it would be great if you would post those in the comments to our videos or post those and tag us in our Discord. Again, our Discord is our ID in the Discord is BeachBum Trading, all lowercase, no other characters, numbers, etc. And if you give us some advance notice of stocks you would like us to look at, do some due diligence on, it would be great if you do that in advance. Again, we'd love to have your feedback on what can we do to make improvements that would help add value for all of our BeachBum traders. We hope you like this content. Please smash the like button, help us try to get the YouTube algorithm to someday show us some love. And we really need your help to directly share our content with your fellow traders, repost our content on your social media sites. Again, I'm not great at sales and marketing or social media in general, so we really need help from people that are to continue to build our BeachBum trading community for the mutual benefit of all of our BeachBum traders. So I greatly appreciate everyone that participated and joined us in the chat today. And everyone that's watching after the fact, we hope to see you all back again next week for our weekly trading game plan, 10 a.m. Saturdays for part 1, 10 a.m. Sundays for part 2. And otherwise, good luck and have a great trading week.